Right now, somewhere out there, a woman is staring at her phone, but it's not because she's texting someone else. It's because of something you said. Maybe a sentence you barely remember, or a smile you gave without even thinking. A tiny, ordinary moment for you that she can't get out of her head. And there you are, wondering why you always feel like just another guy to her, while she replays every little thing, the way your voice softened when you spoke about something real, the way you looked away, as if you didn't even realize she was watching. That effortless presence you have, like you don't need anyone to notice you, is exactly what has her hooked. That's the secret nobody tells you about, the kind of men and women people really obsess over, quietly. They aren't the ones hogging the spotlight, they don't chase attention or try to impress. Often, they don't even realize they're being watched. They just move through the world with quiet confidence as if it's theirs by right. But without having to prove a thing. They speak only when it matters, laugh only when it's genuine, and retreat into their own thoughts, while everyone else is busy trying to be seen. That guy, the one who never even tries, it's probably you. You just haven't noticed it yet, which is why you might have missed all those little signs she's been sending your way. Like the sudden awkward vibe when you walk into the room, or the way she mirrors your posture without even realizing it. Maybe she finds excuses to be near you but never lingers long enough to get caught. You've been taught to look for attraction in all the obvious places. Flirting, compliments, bold gestures, the flashy stuff. But real desire doesn't work that way, not for women. Not for those who truly see you. Their attraction is quiet and subtle, hidden in everyday moments that look casual but definitely aren't. And unless someone points those signs out, you're going to keep walking past women who are silently hoping you'll say something. Keep thinking you're invisible, when really, you're unforgettable. These next 5 signs, they're not loud, not obvious. That's exactly why they're real. So listen closely, because if 2 of these sound familiar, there's someone in your life right now who's secretly hoping you'll finally notice her. Sign number 1. Her body gives her away. That woman who usually seems composed, always put together, sharp with her words, smooth in her presence. One of those people who rarely fidget or falter, and pretty much always knows what to say, especially around others. But around you, something changes. Her laugh shifts. It gets a little quicker, a little lighter, like it's escaping before she even catches it. Her hand reaches up to tuck hair behind her ear, then does it again 10 seconds later. Her eyes hunt for something to focus on, a coffee cup, a menu, the floor, anything but your face for too long. And when she does look at you, her pupils dilate more than they usually would. You might just chalk it up to nerves, or maybe she's tired, distracted, or having a weird day. But what's really going on is deeper. Her body already said what her mind is still trying to hide. She's attracted to you, deeply, but that attraction is wrapped up in fear, confusion, and vulnerability. So her body betrays her every time. Well, her words keep polite, neutral, or professional. Her physiology tells a different story, one she can't control. Carl Jung once said, "What we suppress doesn't disappear, it just comes out disguised." That's shadow psychology in action. When a woman tries to suppress desire, especially if she thinks it's one-sided, that feeling leaks out in small, uncontrollable ways. She may overcompensate by acting overly disinterested, nervously checking her reflection in a window. Maybe she interrupts you only to quickly correct herself. She cracks a joke and then almost immediately apologizes, worried it sounded wrong. She wants you to see her, but not too much, because deep down, she's scared, terrified of what might happen if you realize just how often she's been thinking about you. It's a paradox. Around her friends, she's calm and in control. But with you, the man she secretly wants, she becomes someone unfamiliar, even to herself. Often it's subtle, not dramatic. Maybe she lingers a second too long in a hallway. She sighs for no reason, trips over a word she said 1,000 times before. You probably miss it because you've been taught to look for obvious signs like flirting and compliments. But the women who feel the most are often the ones who say the least. Her silence doesn't mean disinterest. It's restraint. Her distance isn't rejection. It's defense. She's not afraid of you. She's afraid of what you make her feel. And that's the deepest sign of all. When her body betrays the calm, controlled image she's built for the world. Her hands fidget. Her breath shortens. Her eyes dart. That's not by chance. That's desire, wrapped in armor, slowly breaking down because of you. You might toss out random details all the time. Maybe during a lazy weekend chat, or while you're scanning a menu together. You casually say, "Yeah, I'm more of a lemon tea kind of person. Coffee just makes me anxious." You don't even think twice about it. But then, a few weeks later, she shows up holding lemon tea, and when you mention it, she just grins, pretending it's pure coincidence. But you and I both know that wasn't just a drink order. That was a little memory she kept, just because it mattered. When a woman is secretly into you, she's not collecting details because she's a stalker. She's trying to learn your language. Every band you drop into conversation she'll remember. Any opinion you share, even just in passing, she files away. She notices the slight shift in your tone when you talk about your family, or how your voice goes softer talking about a childhood story. Later, she'll bring it up, almost as if she's checking to see how much you remember. 2. This isn't about having a good memory. It's what experts call emotional imprinting. When you make someone feel something big, maybe wonder, admiration, connection, their brain stores it in a different way. It sticks. For her, you aren't just another background figure. You're a signal, somebody who stands out in life's daily noise. So her mind clings to those moments in fragments. Not just what you say, but how you say it. The way your eyes soften when you talk about your brother. The small pause in your voice when you confess a regret. Even if you've long moved on from those moments, she hasn't. Psychologists actually have a name for this: selective memory encoding. It happens when our brains decide something's emotionally important enough to save for later. That's you. For her, you're that significant event. And it goes even further. You know the idea of attachment theory. Basically, when someone sees real emotional potential in another person, especially someone who seems grounded and emotionally mature, they start noticing patterns. She notices how often you open up, what topics you dodge, what makes your eyes light up or what shuts you down. She picks up on this, not with some kind of internal checklist, but with intuition. Why? Because she's not just trying to connect, she's trying to figure out what it would feel like to fit beside you. That's why when you offhandedly mention, "I haven't gone hiking in a while," she doesn't offer advice. Instead, 3 weeks later, she tells you a story about a trail she found and wonders if you've ever tried it. If you share that your mum isn't doing well, she brings it up again the next time, gently, just to let you know she was listening, really listening. And here's the secret most guys totally miss. She doesn't remember everything. She remembers what matters to her, and that usually means the people who matter, too. If she brings up things you forgot, references ancient in jokes, or mentions conversations you barely remember having, you've left an imprint, probably without even trying. That's why it works, because you weren't performing. You were just being you, a genuine, unplanned, real version. And that's exactly what left a mark. So next time someone remembers a small detail about you that you barely remember sharing, pay attention. That's not just memory. That's emotional investment. Someone secretly hoping that all those little details will mean something to you someday. Sign number 3. Her eyes reveal the truth, and then run from it ever. Get that weird feeling like someone's watching you. So you look up, and for a split second, your eyes meet hers. But she immediately looks away, maybe with a shy smile, maybe flicking her hair, or pretending to check her phone like nothing happened. Trust me, that was no random look. That was a scan. A moment where she let her guard down and panicked. The moment you noticed. Here's the thing most guys never get. When a woman is secretly drawn to you, her eyes give her away way before her words do. Eye contact is primal. It cuts straight through social games and scripts. It's like your nervous system acts before you even have time to think. In psychology, this gets called approach avoidance behavior. It's that tug-of-war, the instinct to move closer to something you want, immediately followed by the sudden urge to hide. That's what you see in her eyes. She's not just admiring your face. She's watching how your jaw tightens when you're concentrating, how your eyebrows move when you're deep in thought, how your vibe seems both calm and powerful at the same time. But as soon as you notice her gaze, she panics and looks away, fast trying to act casual. Eye contact is more than a visual thing. It's an emotional risk. It's a flash of vulnerability, a micro moment where she's exposed, and that can be scary. Why? Because if she holds that look too long, you'll see everything, not just interest, but longing, vulnerability, maybe even the story she's made up in her mind about who you are. She's not just seeing you in the present. She's looking at a potential future you together, one that only exists in her imagination for now. That ties back to primal psychology. Back in early human days, holding eye contact could signal trust, vulnerability, or even threat. That's why it still makes your heart race. That's why, when you hold someone's gaze just a little too long, you feel that jolt of adrenaline. For her, those long seconds are a gamble, because if she lingers, you might see right through her and, even worse, you might not feel the same way. So she looks away quickly. Casual, controlled, at least that's the goal. You may think she's shy, or just being polite, or that she's not interested at all. But honestly, if she had no feelings for you, she wouldn't be glancing at you that often in the first place, and she definitely wouldn't care about hiding it. Indifference stares with no fear, but real attraction it hides. It avoids being exposed, especially if it feels one-sided. That's the paradox. The more she's drawn to you, the harder it is for her to hold your gaze. So next time you catch a woman looking at you just a second longer than normal, and she immediately looks away, don't ignore it. That was her heart jumping, her brain trying to regain control. She actually wants you to notice just a little, not so much that it would be obvious, but just enough to test the waters. If you look back at her not with ego, but with genuine presence, you could be the first person who ever made her feel seen instead of exposed. Picture this. You walk into your favorite coffee shop, same time every day, same order, same spot by the window. But lately, there's someone else there too. Not sitting with you, not chatting, just quietly present in the corner of your vision headphones. In, book open, half watching. At first it feels like a random coincidence. Then it happens again, different day, different outfit, but the same chair, the same timing. You think maybe she just likes the place. But deep down, something feels off because she wasn't around before, and now she's there a lot. Not just at the coffee shop either. The same gym class you recently joined, that group hangout your friend invited you to, even volunteering for that extra project at work you're already part of. Each time, it seems casual and unplanned, but it's not. She's quietly repositioning herself into your world, not to stalk you or overwhelm you, but to be close, to be seen, to increase the chances of something happening, anything really. Psychologists call this strategic proximity. It's the unconscious or semi-conscious act of putting yourself in someone's environment to build familiarity and deepen emotional connection without making it obvious. It isn't manipulation, it's a form of protection, because here's the thing. The women who are most drawn to you are often the ones who fear rejection the most. So rather than chasing you outright, they drift closer and closer, orchestrating moments that feel like accidents. She might show up at that bookstore you mentioned once, take the long way to pass your desk, sit just close enough to overhear your voice but far enough to deny it if someone asks. You might just think she's being friendly, or worse, that she doesn't even notice you. But what you're actually seeing is emotional investment under layers of plausible deniability. Admitting her feelings would be terrifying, too direct, too open. So she creates patterns that look like randomness, hoping the more she's close, the more you'll notice her, not just as a passerby, but as someone who belongs in your space. Over time, these repeated coincidences start to build something emotional. She becomes familiar, then recognizable, then safe. Slowly, she becomes essential. It's her silent strategy to make your world feel incomplete when she's not around, without ever having to say a word about her feelings. And sometimes, she might never say it. This closeness she's created, it's her way of vibrating on the same frequency, speaking without words. And most guys miss it. They notice the presence but miss the pattern. They chalk it up to timing, friendliness, or shared routines. But shared routines don't explain why she suddenly joined that event you've been going to for years, or why she switched her lunch break, or why she always seems to find a reason to talk to you even when there are others she could approach. This isn't stalking, it's subtle pursuit, a dance of emotional math. How close can she get without tipping her hand? Because the moment you figure it out, it's game over for her. So she hides her feelings in errands, in timing, in little moments that don't feel like much until, suddenly, they feel like everything. So pay more attention not to grand romantic gestures, but to the quiet consistency. If she keeps showing up where you are, not once, not twice, but regularly, it's not just chance, it's not coincidence, it's her way of saying, I want to be near you, I just don't know if I'm allowed to want that. Sign number 5. She asks questions that peel away your mask. You're having what seems like a normal conversation. Maybe it's during a walk, a car ride, or late at night when the world has quieted down. And then, out of nowhere, she asks something unexpected. Did you and your dad ever get along? Have you ever been in love? What's something you wish people actually understood about you? It doesn't feel invasive or pushy. There's no drama or judgment. Her tone is soft, curious, open. But that question, it lands deeper than you expect. It digs down inside you to a place most people don't bother exploring. And just as quickly as she asks, she moves on casually, like it was nothing. But the truth is, something happened in that moment. She peeled one layer back. While you're still thinking about how to answer, she's already processing what it revealed. See, when a woman is secretly drawn to you, she isn't just watching your actions. She's listening for what you protect fiercely, what you avoid, what you shield from the world, and what slips out when you think you're not paying attention. She asks about your childhood, not to dig up gossip. She's trying to understand what shaped you. She asks about past relationships, not for drama, but to grasp the kind of love you learned to accept and the kind you might be running from. To you, it might seem like small talk, but to her, it's character building. She's piecing together who you really are, like a novelist crafting a deep, layered character. What drives you? What breaks you? What dreams do you hide when you're not performing? Most men think she's just so easy to talk to, or she's really emotionally intelligent. And sure, she might be. But what you're missing is that she's studying you warmly, intuitively, deeply, not clinically or coldly, because she doesn't want the surface version of you. She wants the real you, the guy behind the sarcasm, the routine answers, the practiced detachment. She wants the man beneath the mask. Here's where Carl Jung's ideas come in. Jung believed we all carry archetypes, universal versions of ourselves, buried deep in our psyche. The king, the warrior, the magician, the lover, the rebel, the savior. And when a woman asks those deeper questions, what she's really trying to figure out is which archetype lives inside you. Are you the man who leads quietly, like a king, the one who protects what matters, like a warrior, the one hiding pain behind wisdom, like a magician, or the man who loves fiercely but fears being loved back, like the wounded lover? She's not just trying to see who you are. No, she wants to know who you've always been beneath the noise. This is emotional layering, a process of building a 3D, intimate understanding of you by collecting tiny pieces over time. And if you've noticed, she brings those pieces up later, asks after your mom, remembers your career worries, circles back to a story you brushed off. It's no accident. That's deliberate emotional investment. She's tracing your outline, filling it in with care, because to her, you're not just some guy. You're a mystery worth solving. Maybe she's hoping that if she gets to know you well enough, you'll finally let her in, not just physically, but into the story you've been writing all alone. You might be wondering if she's watching you, thinking about you, replaying your words. Why hasn't she just said anything? Why hasn't she made a move? It's not weakness, it's programming. From the moment she was young, she was taught one thing: to wait, to be chosen, to be pursued, to wait for the man to make the first move. Because if she makes that move first, she risks everything. We praise confidence in men, but punish it in women when it comes to love. That's the hard truth. So instead of boldly showing desire, she learns to signal it from the shadows. Through proximity, eye contact, nervous energy, and those subtle questions we talked about. And she might never actually say, "I want you." Because if you don't feel the same way, she doesn't just lose the chance, she also loses her dignity. And that fear of rejection, it's not just about her feelings, it's about how she thinks you'll see her. What if she's wrong? What if she misread the signs? What if you think she's desperate? Or worse, what if you think she's out of her league? That last fear cuts the deepest, because the more she admires your calmness, independence, and depth, the less likely she is to believe she actually has a chance. And this is the paradox. The men who are most admired, most desired, and most fantasized about often feel the most invisible. Why? Because the moment you start radiating that quiet, unshakable self-possession, the kind that doesn't beg for validation, people just assume you're already spoken for, already wanted, already loved, already unavailable. So she never tells you. She just hopes you notice. She waits for you to make the first move. She drops little signal smiles, soft glances in, then walks. away as if it meant nothing. But it did. It meant she was trying, carefully, silently, and strategically, because in her mind, you are not just another man, you are the one worth risking hope for, even if she can never say it out loud. Now, think about the rooms you've walked into where no one said a word, the women you've passed who didn't smile, the circles you've been a part of, where no one flirted, no one reached out, no one made anything obvious, and so you told yourself, I'm not the type they notice. But here's the part no one ever admits. You weren't invisible because you lacked presence. You were invisible because your presence was too powerful to approach carelessly. The truth is, people admire from a distance what they're afraid to reach. If you've ever felt unseen, it might not be because you weren't desirable. It might be because you were silently admired by people who didn't believe they had the right to come closer. There's a hidden cost to this kind of desirability. You walk through the world, unaware of your effect. You doubt your own attractiveness. You question your worth. You assume you've been overlooked, when in reality, you were put on a pedestal so high no one dared climb it, and that leads to something deeper, something quieter, something most men don't talk about: emotional isolation. Because what good is being desired if no one ever tells you, if no one ever shows it, if the only evidence of it lives in shadows, in quick glances, subtle gestures, and conversations you never realized were full of meaning? You begin to feel disconnected from yourself, from others, from the truth of your impact, and so you shrink. You stop showing up fully. You stop believing you're the kind of man people crave, because no one ever said it to you, but they were there, watching, feeling, wanting, just silently. Maybe now you're thinking back to a woman who got nervous around you, one who remembered too much, one who lingered near but never spoke up, and now you understand the signs, the missed signals, the silent invitations. So what do? You don't exploit it. You don't suddenly act like you've won something, because this is not a game. This is someone else's bravery wrapped in silence. If you recognize yourself in these signs, if you feel that quiet pull from someone in your orbit, the right move isn't domination, it's awareness, it's honoring the effort. Because the women who show you these signs aren't just attracted to how you look, they're drawn to who you are when you're not trying, and that's a rare kind of desire, one rooted in presence, not performance. So respond with presence, not arrogance. With warmth, not games. With attention. Pay closer attention to the ones who look twice but say half as much, the ones who ask those thoughtful questions but pretend it's just small talk, the ones who show up again and again, always with a reason that sounds like coincidence. They don't need you to be perfect. They just need a sign that you see them too, a glance that lingers, a sentence that goes a little deeper, a question that lets them know you've been listening. You don't have to force anything. Just make it safe for something to begin, because often the bravest thing someone can do is quietly hope you'll notice. You were not invisible. You were unforgettable. In silence, while you walked through rooms unnoticed, someone was memorizing the way you moved, while you thought your voice didn't matter. Someone was replaying every time you said her name, and while you believed you were just another man passing by, you were becoming the one she could not stop thinking about. Because the truth is, you've always been watched, not with eyes that judged, but with eyes that longed. You just didn't know how to read the language, the nervous glances, the thoughtful questions, the sudden silences. But now you do. Now you see what was hidden. Now you recognize what was always there. And maybe somewhere right now, a woman is smiling at the thought of you, not because of what you did, but because of how you made her feel without even trying. She's waiting for a moment, a word, a glance maybe. Not today, maybe not ever, but still hoping, you'll smile back someday. You might be wondering if she's been watching you, thinking about you, replaying your words. Why hasn't she just said anything? Why hasn't she made the first move? It's not because she doesn't want to. It's because, from a young age, many women are taught to wait, to be chosen, to be pursued, to let the man take the lead. Society often praises confidence in men, but discourages it in women, especially when it comes to expressing desire. So instead of saying, I want you, she sends signals in the shadows through proximity, fleeting eye contact, nervous energy, and those subtle, thoughtful questions we talked about. She might never say the words aloud, because if she misreads the situation, or if you don't feel the same, she risks more than a lost chance. She risks her dignity. That fear of rejection isn't just about her feelings, It's about how she thinks you'll see her afterward. What if she's wrong? What if she seems desperate? What if she's out of your league? That last fear cuts the deepest, because the more she admires your calmness, independence, and depth, the less she believes she actually has a chance. Here's the paradox. The men who are most admired, most desired, and most fantasized about often feel the most invisible. Why? Because when you carry that quiet, steady confidence, the kind that doesn't beg for validation, people often assume you're already taken, already wanted, already unavailable. So she doesn't say anything. She waits for you to notice. She drops little hints, a smile, a soft glance, and then walks away, acting like it meant nothing. But it did. It meant she was trying, carefully, silently, strategically. To her, you're not just another man. You are the one worth risking hope for. Even if she can't say it out loud, think about all those times you walked into rooms where no one spoke to you, passed by women who didn't smile, been part of groups where no one flirted or reached out. You told yourself, I'm just not the type they noticed. But here's the truth. No one ever says you weren't invisible because you lacked presence. You were invisible because your presence was too powerful to approach lightly. People admire from a distance what they're afraid to reach. If you've ever felt unseen, it might not be because you weren't desirable. Maybe you were admired silently by people too, scared to come closer. There's a hidden cost to this kind of desirability. You go through life unaware of the impact you have, doubting your attractiveness, questioning your worth, assuming you've been overlooked. You were put on a pedestal so high no one dared climb it, and that leads to something deeper, something quieter, something most men don't talk about: emotional isolation. Because what good is being desired if no one ever tells you, if no one shows it, if the only proof lives in quick glances, subtle gestures, and conversations you never realized carried so much meaning? You begin to feel disconnected from yourself, from others, from the truth of your impact. So you shrink, stop showing up fully, stop believing you're the kind of man people truly want, because no one ever said it. But they were there, watching, feeling, wanting, just, silently. Maybe now you're thinking back to that woman who got nervous around you, the one who remembered too much, the one who lingered but never spoke up. And now you see it, the signs, the missed signals, the silent invitations. So what do? You don't exploit it. You don't act like you've won something, because this isn't a game. It's someone else's courage wrapped in silence. If you recognize yourself in these signs, if you feel that quiet pull from someone in your orbit, the right move isn't domination, it's awareness. It's honoring the effort, because the women who show you these signs aren't just attracted to how you look, they're drawn to who you are. When you're not trying, and that kind of desire is rare. It's rooted in presence, not performance. So respond with presence, not arrogance. With warmth, not games. With attention that's real. Pay close attention to the ones who look twice but say half as much. The ones who ask thoughtful questions but pretend it's just small talk. The ones who show up again and again, always with a reason that sounds like coincidence. They don't need you to be perfect. They just need a sign that you see them too, a glance that lingers, a sentence that goes a little deeper, a question that shows you've been listening. You don't have to force anything, just make it safe for something real to start. Because sometimes, the bravest thing someone can do is quietly hope you'll notice. You are never invisible, you are unforgettable. In silence, while you thought no one saw, someone memorized the way you moved, while you doubted your voice mattered. Someone replayed the way you said her name, and while you believed you were just another man passing by, you were becoming the one she couldn't stop thinking about. Because the truth is, you've always been watched, not with judgment, but with longing. You just didn't know how to read the signs, the nervous glances, the subtle questions, the sudden silences. But now you do. Now you see what was hidden. Now you recognize what was always there. And maybe, somewhere right now, a woman is smiling at the thought of you. Not because of what you did, but because of how you made her feel without even trying. She's waiting for a moment, a word, a glance, maybe. Not today, maybe not ever, but still hoping, you'll smile back someday.